what I'm gonna do here is I want to just give out a bunch of news updates from the hood, live from the streets, where I walk at, basically, and where I'm from. Like, well, that's what I consider the news. The news is anything that's relevant that's going on that could affect you. So, like, just because some of the stuff that I talk about may not necessarily be coming on CNN and things of that nature doesn't mean that it's not as relevant. But they talking about this guy. One thing I want to throw out there that's going to kind of flow with this video is this guy is supposed to I forgot his name. I'm saying this guy, and I'm really not trying to sound unprofessional, but he's like a conspiracy guy or whatever. And family member of mine was telling me that he was pretty much like took the oath or something to get into the Illuminati, and it's kind of like taking his ministry or his followers, or I don't know what he calls it, like his ministry or followers. And basically, they going up under the oath and they're taking the oath or whatever. And his name is not really important because I'm really just trying to bring up the incident to kind of like make a point. Just going to kind of lead into some other things that I want to kind of talk about. And it's just that when you get up, well, first and foremost, before you even get up and start teaching people, when you decide that you're going to accept this type of stuff, what I mean by stuff is like, like what we teach as far as in the occult or conscious community or whatever you want to call it. When you decide that you're going to start to ingest this, it's similar to kind of like sending, like you're connected in a spider web, kind of sort of to a bunch of people, like a community of people. It's kind of like similar to a spider web. So you start to take in this information. So now the web that you're connected to, you're going to start to send out frequencies, just like on the internet. That's another good example. You're going to start to send out frequencies to people that you may have been connected to or whatever, or that you may be connected to in the future. So this can cause either a positive or negative effect, is really the point that I want to make. Meaning that it could be a negative effect in respects to the fact that you're taking in this information and then you're sending it out. You're taking in this information and you're sending out these frequencies, but you don't know, like, as you take in this information, you don't know how, what you're going to activate, or like what sacred names and stuff like that that you may activate that may cause you to start to attract beings that aren't agreeable, that aren't in your best interest, that come to challenge you. See, and they call this the challenge aspect. See, that's what makes it different from like a religion. And this is seriously how religion came and how they brought it about. Because like in religion, they teach that pretty much God is going to protect you. But like in the occult, we go outside of that. Like there's no, not to say there's no God, but we know that his functionality is once you start to partake and decide you're going to be a master and start to partake in certain rituals, your relationship or communion with God is going to change. Even in so-called seminary school, which I know because I've, sat down with several people that went through seminary school and have had long talks with these different individuals. And even in so-called seminary school, when you decide you're going to be a pastor, a leader, and lead people into, this so-called God or into the Word of God. I say so-called because God's name is not God; it's many different names. But God is like really just a title. So that's why I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. That's why I had to throw that out there. But so when you decide that you're going to like build a relationship with God or whatever and lead people in that and become a pastor or preacher or whatever, a reverend, there's a pact that you have to take. And they go into a lot of stuff about the occult and stuff like that with demons. And they don't tell you guys this, but they know that once you kind of like open yourself up on a level of leading people, you are now opening yourself up to exposure to demons. So they do different rituals to protect themselves from demons. And some of these rituals do involve blood, semen, and a host of other stuff that I won't go into, but that's why it's called seminary school, believe it or not, it does go into that. And they can't say this stuff because, of course, up under oath. There's oaths involved with that too as well. But the point I'm getting at is that so like when like this guy or whatever that decided he was going to take the oath, I guess he just obviously didn't know how serious they were going to come down on him as far as like the scrutiny and just the drama he's going to go through, like some of the stuff that I've been through, and which I'm kind of leading to, like take that into the next news update or some of the stuff that I'm getting into as far as research. But like when I first started out, some of the stuff that I went through, I mean, it started out kind of calm, but like once you get to a certain, it doesn't take many followers, honestly. Once you get a certain amount of people start listening to you, and they like look at hundreds, the elite, like you even got hundreds of people listening to you on this type of level. Best believe they may just have their eye on you, even. But as you begin to grow and don't start getting like, and start like doing live shows, and you got hundreds of people coming out to see you, like some of the great teachers out there, they're going to start to like fuck with you on a different level, right? And they're going to start to find like or try to find ways to destroy you because your energy is obviously on a higher level because you're able to attract these different groups of people around you. So you got to be careful of that and knowing that when you start taking on this knowledge, it's almost like saying the difference of somebody saying that I'm going to go. This is a real good example. The difference of someone saying that I'm going to go work for this company as an employee, just do regular work for this company. Or no, I'm going to be the boss of this company. See, that's what it's the equivalent to. And my time is running out, and I'll have to come back up with you guys on the rest of the update with some of the stuff that's going on with me. But I'm not even going to talk about that right now. So we'll just close out with this point because I don't have a lot of storage space here. And the bottom line is that you got to decide whether you're going to work at this company or whether you can come in as the master or so-called